Some developers in the tech industry eventually earn more than $200,000. Many others remain closer to $130,000. Both groups may work in software development. Both may write code every day. And both may have similar years of experience. Yet their careers often diverge dramatically. The difference usually does not come from intelligence or effort. It comes from positioning. Certain roles place engineers closer to the systems that entire companies depend on. Other roles place engineers closer to features that many developers can build, and companies tend to reward those two positions very differently. Now, salary breakdown. Across the United States technology industry, many software engineers begin their careers between $110,000 and $140,000. After several years of experience, salaries often rise into the range between $150,000 and $180,000. However, the jump beyond $200,000 usually happens only in certain parts of the technology stack. These positions often include staff engineers, platform engineers, infrastructure engineers, and engineers responsible for system architecture. What these roles share is leverage. They influence how entire systems operate rather than only individual features. Now, market demand. Modern technology companies depend heavily on large distributed systems. Cloud infrastructure, data pipelines, platform reliability, and internal developer platforms support the work of hundreds of engineers inside large organizations. Because these systems are complex, companies constantly need engineers who understand how they behave under scale. Demand therefore remains relatively strong for engineers who operate closer to infrastructure and system design. These engineers often become responsible for the stability and performance of entire platforms. Now, competition level. Another reason many developers never reach $200,000 is that salary growth is not linear. The market does not usually reward engineers with smooth, predictable jumps forever. At some point, progression slows. Moving from $120,000 to $150,000 is often easier than moving from $150,000 to $200,000. Why? Because the higher tier is not simply more experience. It is a different category of responsibility. Companies paying $200,000 are often paying for reduced uncertainty. They want engineers who can operate close to architecture, infrastructure, reliability, and scaling decisions without constant supervision. That kind of trust is expensive, and it takes time to build. This is why many careers plateau even when the engineer keeps improving. Skill increases, but leverage does not increase at the same speed. Competition inside the tech industry has increased significantly over the past decade. Thousands of engineers entered the field during the expansion of software development careers. Many of these engineers focused on application development and product features. At the same time, modern frameworks and development tools have made product development faster. This means companies can build many features with relatively small teams. As a result, competition is often strongest in the most common development roles. Roles that require deeper knowledge of distributed systems or infrastructure often attract fewer qualified candidates. Now, junior reality. Most developers begin their careers working close to product code. They build features, improve interfaces, and fix bugs. This stage is important because it teaches practical software development. However, developers who remain permanently in product-level development may eventually encounter slower salary growth. Engineers who gradually move closer to infrastructure, platform engineering, or architecture often gain access to larger technical responsibilities. Those responsibilities influence how systems operate across entire organizations. That level of influence often accelerates career progression. Now, long-term outlook. The long-term outlook for system-level engineering remains relatively strong. Software systems continue to grow in scale and complexity. Large companies rely heavily on stable infrastructure, reliable data systems, and scalable platform architectures. Engineers who understand distributed systems, cloud architecture, and operational reliability tend to remain valuable across many industries. These skills often transfer between companies even as specific technologies change. Now, positioning strategy. For developers thinking about long-term career growth, the key concept is leverage. Which roles influence the largest portion of the system? Engineers who design infrastructure, maintain platform systems, or shape system architecture often influence the work of many other engineers. Their decisions affect how products scale, how systems fail, and how teams build software. Working closer to this technical core often increases both responsibility and compensation over time. Now, risk and resilience. No role inside the technology industry is completely immune to change. Hiring cycles slow down, Companies restructure. Some technologies become obsolete. However, engineers who understand how systems operate at a deeper level tend to adapt more easily. Knowledge of networking, distributed systems, platform architecture, and system reliability transfers well between organizations. This adaptability becomes a form of career resilience. Another uncomfortable reality is that many developers optimize for comfort too early. Once compensation becomes stable, urgency often disappears. Engineers stop moving toward harder systems, deeper infrastructure, or more complex responsibility. They remain productive, but they stop compounding leverage. And without leverage compounding, salary growth tends to flatten. Now, final verdict. Many developers never reach $200,000 not because they lack talent. They remain below that level because of where their role sits inside the technology stack. Roles that influence infrastructure, platform systems, and architecture create far more leverage inside companies. And leverage is what most often drives the highest salaries in modern tech careers.